Hi guys, this is Stefan, poker coach and founder of BecomeAnOnlinePokerPro.com. Welcome back to the Bankroll building experiment episode 19. And in case you're wondering, this is the YouTube series where I abandon the games I usually play at No Limit 100 and No Limit 200 to show you guys exactly what it takes to build a bankroll from scratch in 2013. And so far we've gone from $200 up to $1,900 and some dollars. So we've been playing from No Limit 4 up to No Limit 50 so far, and I'm planning to end this experiment once we do hit the $2,000 mark, just because that would mean we would have a bankroll to take shots at No Limit 100. And my entire goal for this series is to help people struggling at the micro stakes, and once we get up to No Limit 100 and above, I still feel like I have plenty of good advice to give you guys, but I feel like most of the people watching my videos are not going to be at that level. So I don't really see a huge point in creating educational material on those stakes. I think it would make much more sense for me to focus on providing content that is more relevant for you guys. And you've soon got like 20 videos of me talking while playing. So I've already made a lot of videos while I play. So I'm thinking, maybe I could do another form of content that might be able to give you guys more value, more useful stuff, I guess is another way to put it. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're nearing the end of the experiment, unless we hit a pretty big downswing and in that case I'll just continue making these videos, of course. Oh, nearly missed a c-bet up on table 2, but we managed to get it in. It's a decent texture, and we do have one overcard and do have some backdoor straight draws, so definitely a decent spot for a c-bet. And on table 1 the flop was ace-5 with a flush draw, and we had nothing, but it was a limped pot. And if you've been watching any of my videos at all, you know that I like to take stabs at the limped pots, especially when they're heads up, and especially when the board texture is good for a c-bet, like a paired board. So very standard spot. We bet out full pot and we took it down. This limped pot on table 1 is the one I would definitely always try and steal with any 2 cards if it was heads up, but given the fact that we are against 2 fishy players, and we don't really have a lot of equity, I think I'm just going to give this one up. I guess it's kind of marginal because we do have an overcard and we do have a backdoor straight draw, so I guess betting the flop is not bad either, but in this spot I just decided to check it down. Deuce 6 is just a fold on table 4. I haven't really been playing since our latest session, so I didn't really want to start off with the usual intro of my graph so far and so on, since I haven't really got any results for you to show you since our latest video. So we're just going to continue playing the tables, and the tables look really nice actually. There's a lot of fish, which is great. And yeah, I haven't really been the fishes have not really been lacking. Like obviously there were more at No Limit 4 and No Limit 10 than at No Limit 25 and now No Limit 50, but overall there's still plenty of bad players. There's a lot of money to be made still from playing these micro stakes, and it's definitely still possible to make a quick rise up through the stakes if if you put in the work, if you put in the hours at the tables, if you put in the time analyzing your play, and especially if you find someone to guide you, to help you get there as fast as possible. But I guess if you're already watching this, then you are already seeking someone to guide you and to help you shorten your own path to reach your own poker goals. So that's great. That's a great start, in my opinion. It's probably one of the most important steps. 9-5 suited in middle position is just a fold. Now this 10-7 suited, I'm just gonna try and limp in. Hope that the big blind checks it so that we get to play this suited and kind of coordinated hand against the fish, who's limping under the gun. I think the big blind is going to check often enough that it's going to be profitable for us to complete. And this board, we do have a gut shot. I'm just going to try and take a stab. I'd expect Henry to have raised any strong ace, king or queen, so I don't really think he's going to be a problem. If he calls, I'll just continue betting. Our real issue is definitely going to be Imoli, but I think his range for limping is so wide that he'll often just fold when he has absolutely nothing on this board, and when he does decide to call, I don't really see too much point in getting him to fold, just because I don't really think he's the type to fold any large pair, or any flush draw for that matter. So now that we did it at 10, I'm just thinking we just check it down, see what happens. And the ace king with 3-bet against this fishy guy under the gun. We're happy to get it all in here. And he did have the 8s, so it's a 50-50 pre-flop, and he's definitely going to be getting it all in with weaker aces like ace jack, ace queen, king queen maybe even. So it's definitely a profitable play for us to get it all in there against this guy with the ace king. And yeah, we did see that the fish on table 1, Imoli, he decided to limp in with the ace queen, and he didn't really value bet it at any point. He didn't raise me on the flop. He's just plays very very passively, very weak. So that's definitely something to note. And it's the guy who decided to underbet the river when he did hit it. So yeah, if that guy suddenly makes a huge bet, I would expect him to have a bluff actually most of the time, just because he's shown that he's very passive, that he doesn't really value bet thinly at all. So when he does bet, he either has a bluff or he has a very, very strong hand. And we do have a note on him saying that when he does have a very, very strong hand, he's underbetting. His logic in his mind is that, oh, I have a strong hand, I don't want him to fold, I really just want him to call, and to get him to call I'm gonna bet very small. That's his logic when he has strong hands, and we can tell from that note we took earlier. And so we can use this if we are faced with a big bet. We know that he doesn't value bet thinly, because we saw that with the ace queen hand, and we know that he underbets when he does have strong hands. So when he does come out and bet huge, we almost certainly know that it's a bluff. So we have two separate notes, and none of them are about him bluffing at any point, but because they tell a story about other parts of his range, they basically tell us that he is not value betting lightly, which means that we can look to bluff catch more with weaker hands, because he either has it or he doesn't. It's not like he has something that's decent but actually beats the hand we're bluff catching with. He doesn't have any of those hands. So this means we should be calling him more down when he's bluffing, and we know that when he does have a strong hand he's underbetting. So we can basically kind of deduct from those two reads that when he is betting huge, he probably has a bluff. So yeah, I hope you got something from that explanation. If it was messy at all, just leave a comment or question down below, and I'll be happy to go over it again and try and explain it better. I might even do a video on that, on the interaction between what people are doing with different parts of their range, and how we can kind of make adjustments based on that. Maybe let me know if you'd like one of those videos down below, then I'll definitely put that on my to-do list for you guys. Ace Jack on table 2. This is going to be a 3-bet for me. This guy lol AA. He's got a steal that's above 40, and he's folding a lot to 3-bets. So he has a wide range, and he's folding a lot when he is getting 3-bet when someone is pushing back. So just the sheer profit this is going to make already pre-flop is going to be pretty huge. And on top of that, I've also got the blockers to his jacks, to his ace king, to his ace queen, to his aces with my ace jack. So that's even more value for me. And on top of that, even I do have the ace if he decides to, if he has tens, then we have 2 overcut with the ace and the jack if he does decide to call. Same thing if he has nines, and even if he decides to slow play with kings, just the fact that we have the ace gives us a lot of equity on a lot of boards. So yeah, overall just a massively profitable play, and I think a lot of people end up just calling with the ace jack in that situation, just because he is raising a lot, and so we can call more when he's raising a lot. But the thing with calling is that you're out of position now, and your opponent has the initiative. And when you're calling out of position without the initiative, you're basically putting yourself in a difficult situation. What you have to do in those situations is you have to steal pots where you've got some decent equity and your opponent is bluffing a lot. So whenever you have a gut shot, or whenever you have a backdoor straight draw, or backdoor flush draw, and even sometimes just when you don't have anything at all, you need to be check raising. You need to win the hand without actually having a strong hand yourself. And the thing is, a lot of people they don't really know how to spot these situations, or they never really get around to bluffing as often as they should. So instead, what they end up doing is just calling. And when they don't hit, they end up check folding too much. And when they do hit, they might just call once. And because our opponent has position, he's capable of finding great spots to bluff on the turn and river, and he's able to realize his equity. So let's say he's c-bet bluffing the flop with like a backdoor flush draw. And we've got the top pair, so we just call and we check it again on the turn. He checks behind. Now he's got a flush draw on the turn, and he checks behind as well, and he hits this flush on the river. Just the fact that he gets to realize his equity whenever we do hit just means that the value of just hitting and check calling down is actually less. So you need to be bluffing more when you're calling out of position than people realize. You need to be applying pressure more than people realize. And the thing I've found is that people are folding way too much to 3-bets. So just taking the hands that would usually be a marginal call and 3-betting them instead is just helping to put me in a lot of profitable situations already pre-flop. And yeah, I'm thinking it's allowing me to play more profitable poker. So I just want to share that with you guys. That's basically my reasoning for 3-betting the ace-jack. Got kind of long, but I think it was helpful. So in that case, I don't really mind if it got a bit long. You saw me fold the queen 9 offsuit on table 3. Now the reason for this is this fish just behind me. He's absolutely crazy. He's playing 93% of his hands, and he's raising only 4%, sorry. But this means he's just going to be calling anything pre-flop, and he's got a fold to c-bet of only 17. So he's calling any raise pre-flop, and he's calling any bet on the flop. So against that guy, I really want to have hands, that flop equity. I want to have suited hands that flop flush draws. I want to have connected hands that flop straight draws. I want to have high card hands that flop great top pairs, or great spots for me to continue barreling. Now here with the queen, king queen, this is basically the same spot as the ace jacks from before. So we go ahead and 3-bet and we take it down pre-flop, which is a great result for us. So that's why I folded the queen 9 off there. I was going to say something, but I just forgot. It slipped my mind just now. Hopefully it wasn't too important. Gonna raise up the suited queen down here just because the small blind looks fishy, so I think we might be able to play this profitably against these two blinds. The jack 4 suited is a fold on table 1. The deuce 2 off is a fold on table 2. King 3 off is a fold on table 3. 7s we're going to be playing on table 2. For raise, my holes on the button is probably going to call. He's our most likely opponent in this hand. Just because he's the fish, he's playing the largest amount of hands, so the chance of us playing against him is higher than against anyone else at the table. We do get 3-bet though from this guy in the blinds. I'm just gonna check out his 3-bet. It's only like 7%, and 7% is kind of like, it's too much for us to call just to hit a set, just because he has a sufficient amount of bluffs for us to not, so that we can't really just call and profit from hitting a set whenever he has a really strong hand. But it's kind of not high enough for him to give up in a lot of spots post flop, and it's not really high enough for us to call and bluff a lot either. So I'm thinking just folding 7s there is going to be our best option. The jack 6. I'm gonna raise this just because we've got a huge fish in a small blind playing 71-35. The games are really good today. I'm actually getting pretty tired. It's like 11:30, or is it 12:30? It's 11:30 in the evening anyway. And I've got school tomorrow, I've got uni tomorrow. But I'm thinking that, after recording this video, I should probably just stay up and grind these games a bit. Just because of the amount of fish. Now on table 1, we bet the flop with our 6, expecting to get him to call with a lot of worse hands. And we continue betting on the turn, just basically because I expect him to continue calling with weaker 6s, and like even with a 4, like a 4-5 or 4-3. On the river, when we do hit our flush and he decides to lead out, like this is just an awesome spot. He might have, a queen, which he wants to get value from, and whenever he does lead out, if he does lead out with a value hand in that situation, I don't really expect him to be able to fold it at any point. And we obviously have to shove when we hit a flush. Because he's a weak player, I don't really give him credit for being able to know that I kind of want to shove in this spot, just because I think he's steaming, but I'm not going to. Don't know why. I'm not going to. I guess I don't really know if he's steaming or not. And he has such a low 3-bet that, and he did make it like kind of small, which kind of makes me think that he actually did have a hand instead of, you know, just steaming. If he would have made it like way too big, I would have been more likely to think that he was just getting angry because we rivered the flush. So in that case, I think a fold is fine. If he really is getting very tilted, we'll soon know anyways. So we don't really have to take a gamble there with the ace jack. Now we called again. He definitely wants to play hands against us, which is fine, especially when you have a strong hand like king queen. And you can definitely see why in these spots why the value of suited hands with even just, you know, one Broadway card go up when there's fish in the blind. You know, the reasoning that I opened the queen 5 suited because of the fish in the small blind at table 4, and the reason I opened the jack 6 suited because of the fish in the small blind on table 1. It's basically these spots, you know, where you end up getting a flush and they just pay off huge, or the spots where you know, they're calling way too wide and you're able to, you know, apply pressure on the turn and river to them just because you have the flush draws and they have too wide of ranges, so you can continue betting with great equity on turn and rivers, or, you know, flop and turns I should say. And he just doubled up, which is great. You obviously want a fish with the highest amount of money possible, so that's great for us. I think I'm gonna 3-bet this hand. Like, he is raising a huge amount of hands, and I don't think he's folding anything against me at this point, so just going ahead and 3-betting for value, expecting him to call with weaker aces, on this board weak kings as well. And on table 2 decided to 3-bet. Same thing again really. I could probably call profitably in this, but I think there's more value in just going ahead and 3-betting right now. Against this guy, I'm just gonna bet the flop, and if he calls, I'm gonna shove the turn. I have no idea what his range is for limping and actually calling a 3-bet, but apparently it's pretty strong. But since he did decide to shove here, but with our flush draw and our backdoor straight draw, and our 10 and jack might be good actually sometimes. So getting 2-1 and flush draw here is just an easy call. And we break out unfortunately, but he did have the 8s, so like our 10 and our jack were live cards. So in that spot we had at least 50% equity. Probably a bit more because we have the backdoor straight draw as well. And because we got such a good price on our call, it's just an easy call. It's a very profitable call for us on the flop. So yeah, not too much to say about that situation really. Now against the 10s here, against this guy, I have been 3-betting him quite a bit, but you can see he's not 4-betting me at all. He's responding by either folding and then calling sometimes. And since his most likely response against me 3-betting is going to be a fold, which I don't really want, I'm just going to call when I have a very strong hand like the 10s in this spot, just because I want to keep in his weak hands, and I think I do that best by calling pre-flop. So yeah, or else I end up in a situation where he's calling with a very strong range. I'm going to check raise this river, I think. Well, he's calling with a very strong range, and when he does end up calling, I'm not really in a great spot, and I end up folding out a lot of the hands that I do beat. Like in this spot, I think he probably has a queen a lot of the time, but he can never really have a strong hand when he decides to check the flop against me in this spot. And because I have the 2 10s, I think it's less likely that he does have a hand like 10 jack. So the only strong hand he can have is 9s in this spot. I think there's a way larger chance that he does have a queen. And I can have all the sets. I can have straights. I can have all kinds of stuff. So I would expect him to fold quite a bit on this river with a single queen, which it looks like he have, since he does decide to tank. So yeah, the fact that he checks behind the flop in this spot just narrows his range way too much. Like, he's never checking back with queens, he's never checking back with aces, he's never checking back with a set or a straight draw. So, you know, he can't really have a strong hand on that river. He can't really have stronger than a queen. And in the meantime, I can have tons of strong hands. I can have the 10 jack for the straight, I can have 6 7 for the straight, I can have all the sets except queens, I guess, because I would 3-bet them pre-flop. But I can just have a way stronger range than he can. So yeah, I can exploit the fact that my range is way stronger than his range and go ahead and 3-bet or check raise bluff the river, and kind of turn my 10s into a bluff. I don't really expect him to I don't expect my 10s to be good there very often. You know, I might be able to call and turn a profit, I don't really know, but I definitely think check raising is going to be the better play in that situation. So yeah, that's quite an uncommon spot, but yeah, pretty cool one, I think. It comes up sometimes. It's definitely cool to know spots where you can incorporate river check raises into your play. It is kind of a cool play, but I hope I explained my logic and why it's not a fancy play at all. It's just based on what range he can actually have and what range we can actually have, and just exploiting the fact that we know he's not checking back with a very strong hand. So yeah, I think that's a great spot to end this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up down below, that really helps a lot. Please leave comments, any questions, leave them down below. I read everything. And yeah, you can look forward to at least 1 more, maybe 2 more NL50 videos, depending on how we do. And even after the bankroll building experiment, I'll definitely be making more videos for you, just not of this particular kind for right now. I'll be doing, another kind of video. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Oh, remember to check out becomeanonlinepokerpro.com as my blog. I do have a free e-course over there on how to play winning online poker, which you should definitely check out if you haven't already. There's a link down below in the description. And yeah, that's it, guys. Until next time, take care.